Peep this W.O.M, and we're back with another IRL. Yeah. The Wicked, part 1.
The Wicked? Who's Wicked?
All of them.
Nah, for real, they kind of all wicked, let's be real.
And this one is the power, perception, and the price of being different. Let's roll the film.
Please assure him I am honored to help her.
Well, she doesn't need your help. Miss Caldwell, I promised my father that I would...
don't want help.
Stop, Miss Caldwell.
Please, you don't understand. Stop! Let her go!
I'm sorry, Nessa. I didn't...
Magic is merely the mind's attempt to wrap itself around the impossible. Yes, that was me. To prepare you to expect the unexpected here at Shiz.
Before you go, I just want to give a shout out to Madame Warble from the very beginning, controlling people's perceptions of reality. She's like, nah, that's so good. No, that was me. It wasn't her. It was big me. Magic, right?
And you thought she was actually helping. I thought she was helping.
Yeah, also too,
if you didn't know the story. And listen, there's a bunch of spoiler alerts if you didn't see the movie.
Come on, man.
What you're gonna see, because when this comes out, you should have saw it.
You should have been seeing it. Like, how many millions of dollars it made? Come on, it's your fault for not watching it already. Go out there and watch it.
So what do you think of this clip? And then I want your review.
The biggest thing that stood out to me was Nessa turning her back on her sister. Her sister is literally there to be a caretaker. This is before we know that she goes there to be a student as well. But the problem is that when the incident happens, she literally just abandons her for everybody to see. And come on, that's so uncool. I may have beef with my siblings, but I'm not gonna embarrass them in front of public like that. That's wild disrespectful.
And the crazy thing is, Elphaba didn't even want to be there. She didn't even want to be there. The father said, I trust you to stay with her.
He's basically making her the guardian, like, all right, I don't care about you, but you know what? You the big dog, so you take care of the dog that I actually care about.
It's almost like the Cinderella story.
It is Cinderella.
Yeah.
Before Cinderella.
She was the maid. Like basically the hand servant to her own sister.
Her own sister, and her dad don't even care about her. What about,
continue, your review.
And then quick review, I give it an 8.8.
Okay.
I didn't expect going in there to have a strong feeling about it. It wasn't really until around maybe the last 55 minutes of the movie that I really started saying, oh, this is getting really good, past all of the school and everything. Right. But we'll get to that soon. Ooh, that's school. What about you?
I give this a solid 9.
Solid 9?
It was like, it gave you a journey. They developed the characters really well. If you like musicals,
like I do,
like me too, then you can enjoy the mixture. It wasn't too heavy on the musical, and it wasn't too heavy on just pure acting. It gave a good blend.
I think I'd rather go see it on stage. Just after seeing this, I think I'd rather see it on stage.
Wicked on stage is amazing.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, then it's lit.
It's definitely, it's way better.
Gotta go see it then.
So Wicked Part 1 is a mirror for real life conversations around power, identity, popularity, rejection, morality, and survival.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at it, Elphaba now walks through, right, Shid's university for the first time. All this stuff happens, conversation is going, right? They're conversating about her being green. Everyone's,
God forbid.
Right? So the question I have is, how often do people decide who you are before you even open your mouth? As we've seen with Elphaba. As soon as she came in there, everybody had something to say, and not knowing that she's a gentle soul. Amazing girl.
How often do people have something to say about me specifically?
No, in general. How do you feel?
In general, like in society.
Yeah, society.
Oh yeah, we all do it all the time. We all make, but it's true, we all make It's blanket statements and judgments because we don't know. We just assume that we know things. We go based off of what we think something is. Elphaba, for example, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to play on skin color, but she looks like an ogre compared to everybody else. So they associate her with that. They're looking at her and thinking, dang, you must be Shrek's younger sister. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me.
And you know that saying, never judge a book by the cover.
But we do it all the
But
time.
we do it all the time.
That's what human beings do, because we judge things because we need to feel safe preemptively. The problem is that the world that we live in is more complex than just our preconceived notions. We can't think that just because somebody has green skin that they're going to be a mean person. There's people with skin like me that do horrible things all the time. Have you seen the news?
Yeah. Yeah, so when you see Glinda now, right, she comes in effortlessly through shiz, doing the hair thing.
Oh, look at you.
Pause.
Look at you all zesty.
No, and no.
Zesty.
So have you ever watched someone with less skills outrank someone more capable simply because they're easier to digest?
Absolutely. It's because of their charisma. They have this charisma where when they talk to some people, they make them feel good. They compliment them a lot of times. They have really nice things to say about them. They sell them pipe dreams. Ultimately, they're more likable, and that's what gets them that position.
And the crazy thing about this, right? When you watch Wicked, Glinda, right?
Glinda.
People might perceive her easier to digest, but really, in real life, she's not. She's a tyrant.
She'd be insufferable in real life.
Yeah, she's a part of the Mean Girls society.
I thought that too. I was watching this with all the pink and everything. I've seen Mean Girls so many times. I said this is literally just Mean Girls with magic in Oz. Mean Girls in Oz.
Right.
That's the name of the video.
Mean Girls in Oz.
Mean Girls in Oz. Oh, man.
So do you think who survives longer, the popular person with no skills or the talented person that nobody likes?
You're not going to like my answer.
Go ahead.
It's the popular person. Because as long as somebody likes you, they will continuously make excuses for you. At the end of the day, people don't care to get to know Elphaba. Even if she has all the talent in the world, even if she can actually make Oz a better place, they don't want that from her. They want it from somebody like Glinda. That's why we get things like Glinda the Good and the Good Fairy, or what is it, the Good Witch.
Right.
But at the end of the day, even though you think your talent can carry you a long way, people don't care about you, then they don't care about your talent.
So what was your first impression when you saw Glinda and how she broke out in song and who she was and her personality?
Glinda, to me, came off as somebody who was toxic positivity from day one. I just said, oh my God. It's like one of those people that you see on social media that just try to force positive things in your day. Granted, I understand the concept of looking on the sunnier side of things.
Right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But Glinda's way of doing it is Glinda, and I know this, game recognizes game, she's a control freak. She sees things that are in her way that don't align with her, and she has to force her will to make it the way that she wants it to be. She's not as nice as she seems. It's really more about control.
And manipulation.
Exactly. That's why when I see that, I say, you don't really care about things being good. You care about things, one, the perception of you being good in other people's eyes, and two, you care more about how situations actually make you feel and not how it makes other people feel. That's my thoughts. I don't know. What about you?
No, I agree with everything you said, but speaking of Glinda, let's roll this video about Glinda.
Fierro and I are getting married.
He asked you already?
Oh, he doesn't know yet. Oh, hello.
Oh!
That's enough. Are you looking for something? Or someone?
You can room with Miss Glinda.
I so enjoy air.
Oh, you really don't have to do that.
I know. That's what makes me so nice. He's been thinking, which really worries me.
Come with me!
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming. And Elfie? Can I call you Elfie?
Well, it's a little bit perky.
I know. I'm gonna call you that. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Which of you would volunteer to share?
Give me a bounce! Oh, me too. Oh, me too, me too. Mm-hmm. Give me my leg. Give me my leg!
Before you go,
Yes, please.
I just want to say, I'll throw Glinda some bail. If a girl came up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you looking for something or someone?" I gotta give you that. That's game. That's game. That was good game. I say you got my attention, Miss. What's your name? That was, ladies. If you want to do something like that, you might actually get a good guy. Just saying.
Elphaba, listen. So you asked me a question, and I wanted to show this video, and I showed you some of the parts of Glinda, and she is an asshole. She's an asshole
I didn't expect you to say
a
that.
lot of the times. Like she has a way of manipulating the people around her.
I agree.
She wanted to embarrass Elphaba by giving her the hat,
She did do that. That was very mean.
right? And said it was fashion, right? She shared the room with her, but not because she really wanted to. She was forced to. And she tried to give her just a little bit of that little space, right? She was invited to come in, but she wanted to make it seem like she wasn't so, oh, no, I wouldn't come. I'm coming. She wanted the spotlight still to be on her,
Yep, she did.
right? How you gonna tell somebody they gonna marry you without he even propose?
That is, once again, controlling.
Controlling.
It's very controlling. But hey, you know, I guess we all got to start somewhere. I'll throw Glinda a little bit of bail because I do realize this is a university. They're still supposed to be maybe immature.
High school, right?
High school, university. I'll give them a
College.
little bit, but it's still really freaking mean.
All right, so we saw that Elphaba's magic, right, was revealed, and Miss Marble. Yeah, she discovered that she has it. When did you realize, based on this movie, being different could make people afraid of you? Like, when did you realize that from Elphaba?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally, from the movie's experience.
Well, I mean, the only experience where people can be afraid of me, specifically like this, is obviously things like people following you around in the stores because they're afraid you're going to steal something.
Right.
Not going to try to go too heavy-handed into that specific avenue. But on a more not necessarily afraid of me, but definitely uncomfortable is part-time in college, a part of my time in college, being a part of clubs and different groups where me being able to comfortably talk with the opposite sex and not have any intentions, making some of my guy friends feel uncomfortable because they thought that I was getting more attention from girls that they like.
Right.
I'm minding my business only to realize that people dislike me for something that they think I'm doing. And unfortunately, people's perceptions of you can make a very strong and very unfair impact in your life.
Right.
What,
I want to transition next to, now in this movie, bro, when did you realize they were afraid of Elphaba?
from jump, literally her dad comes out and says, get rid of it, get it out the room. You know how horrible that is? Imagine your baby's ear and it comes out blue like a Smurf and you just say, nah, we don't play with that, nah, there's bees all day around here. It'd be horrible.
I think it's when they were in the classroom. Remember that scene? I just want to think everyone started to be afraid when she did whatever she did magically. And no one could really explain. But then she and the prince was gone.
I mean,
you think a little bit before that?
Just because
for you?
Because it's the green skin, you can't avoid it. It's from jump because her skin stands out so much in a world where people don't have that hue. Everybody from jump just feels that, what is this other that makes me feel uncomfortable?
But would you say fair though? I don't think they were afraid of her. I just thought they didn't like her because she was different. I think they became afraid.
I still think so.
Okay, elaborate.
I think so just because how does this person come out with green skin? Is it contagious? Could I get green skin? I don't want to get green skin and people start fearing me. I didn't do anything to deserve this. In fact, keep your green daughter away from my children. It evolves like that because of fear and ignorance. It doesn't necessarily need to be her magical ability, but just the preconceived notion. There we go again, people.
There we go.
That preconceived notion. just the preconceived notion that could this be this? I don't know. In fact, I don't want to know. Keep your Shrek daughter away from me.
No,
It starts like that, and it's like that in real life.
No, for real, for real. One of the things this movie brought out too is that I don't want a friend like Glinda.
But I'm sure you've had them.
Of course, of course, without a doubt.
I'm sure
me
you've
and
had
you have
some.
shared stories. But what do you feel about people like Glinda really was only supporting her in private and not in public as much? She only showed that first sign when they did the dance together, but she wasn't too fond of her in public.
You might got a point with that.
All right, talk to me. Elaborate. Go ahead. Tell me what's on your mind.
Only because I'm thinking at the end of the second movie where they show them all at the picnic and stuff. So they did go out in public and have fun. But at the same time, I'm going to throw Glinda a little bit of bail here. Only because when it came down to actually standing up against Oz, not everybody's, especially somebody like Glinda's, they're not ready for that fight. They don't know how to fight that fight. They only know the world literally inside their own bubble. Yeah. So I can't always expect people to stand up when the time calls for it, because they may not be familiar with hardship and struggle like that. So I'm gonna give her a little bit of it, not justifying it.
Okay.
But just trying to understand why sometimes people don't speak up when they need to.
All right, this is where I would say.
I know you're gonna give me flack for it.
No,
I know you're gonna,
not at all, because
online in the comments, I know I'm gonna get flack for that.
When you see in the movie, bro, one thing that made this movie so great with the layers is it wasn't until they had not the popular song, the other one where they started singing about being friends, right? Basically. Okay. All right. But then you realize when they're out in public, when they were in the library, she acted like she didn't want to do anything with her.
Would you say that maybe she was learning to respect Elphaba for her? Because Glinda is not somebody that's used to somebody being themselves around her. She's used to other people catering to her. She's used to everybody fawning over her. But Elphaba is just, listen, I'm in the books, I'm in the magic. Actually, I know you want to study this magic stuff, but you know, Morbo is like, you ain't got the juice. So maybe she's sort of, which we all know at the end of the movie, she actually idolizes Elphaba. Because Elphaba gets to be herself.
She was jealous. It was more jealousy than idolization. She was jealous. Because even when she was younger, they blamed that little thing that happened, that magic. It was magic. You know,
rainbow? Yeah.
You did this? No.
The little boy said, did you do it? She didn't answer the question. She said, well, you know I like rainbows.
Right.
I know y'all gonna clip that. It's gonna call me zesty. It's all good.
And I think that was wild, bro. I think that's wild. One of the questions now that we go to, right, where you see that she's becoming the villain, right, Elphaba. So narrative replaces the truth. Elphaba loses control of her image, right? How do you cope when people misunderstand you and don't want clarity?
I was looking at that question and thinking about it. Honestly, I do kind of what Elphaba does. I seclude myself. I've had various experiences similar to Elphaba where you're just, whatever people think about you isn't really you, but at the end of the day, your ostracization literally becomes your superpower. Had Elphaba not been ostracized, she probably wouldn't have been as powerful. Oz would have stayed the same. But because that happened to her, like with me, okay, fine. I'll be by myself. I'll indulge in things of my own liking. But those things also made me become more articulate, a better lyricist. It made me become more interested in fitness. So sometimes people treating you negatively can actually help you become. It's your superhero origin story.
Right.
You know, it's Spider-Man. You're like, all right, you know, but now that I'm stronger now because of it. Doesn't excuse it though.
Right.
Doesn't excuse it. What about you?
I think Elphaba did handle being misunderstood well. It was weighing on her, but she did try herself because she was really trying. She was herself no matter what.
She had no choice.
Had no choice. They already say, all right, you're not fitting in, and she did what she had to do. When I really noticed this, her being misunderstood, and I thought it was cool, is when she went to go find out what was happening with the GOAT. His name, I forgot his
Yeah.
name.
The-
And I was
the
just
professor.
like, Professor. And I was just
Professor
like,
Oxtail.
Oxtail.
No, Professor,
Ox.
Professor
Imagine Oxtail.
Professor Curry Gold. I'm horrible.
man.
I'm horrible. Go on.
Yeah, and I realized if I was to put myself in her shoe, how I would cope. Hey, if they really don't like me, F it. Let me just continue being me. Because at the end of the day, listen, I try to fit in, they're still gonna make fun of me even when I try to fit in. So
But
do
you're
what I
saying
gotta
that
do.
as an adult, and we recognize that this is happening with Elphaba.
Right.
She's an adult playing a younger character, and this is kind of where it goes back to. I understand. Maybe as a child, not everybody is that strong. We've had that conversation. You've asked me a
Yeah.
similar situation, even with my own anecdotal
Right.
experience. Like Elphaba, sometimes you don't have any option but to be yourself. Not everybody gets to be fake like Glinda and her harem of, I was going to say something else, but her harem of butt kissers. Not everybody gets to live in the ignorance and bliss of, I get to be fake and accepted. Some of us get to be like Elphaba. Well, I guess I'm just going to be forced to be myself and be ostracized.
Okay. But this is where I give you a little pushback, right? I feel like because she's been dealing with this for so long since a child, had to be raised by Mama Bear.
Not even her own father.
Not even her own father, right? And because of that, she developed a sense of tough skin and realized that I don't really have to fit in. I'll just stand out. And she did. Because there's many of times she could have, in this movie, say, you know what? Let me be the butt of the joke. No, she embraced it and kept pushing because she knew I'm not saying now she don't have feelings,
No.
emotions. It didn't bother her. You could clearly see it did. But you could also clearly see when she was doing that elbow dance.
Yo, she got the moves. I don't care what nobody say. She got the
She was
moves.
doing it when everyone's looking and laughing, she was still doing it. Even when her sister felt embarrassed.
Don't even get me started on the fact that her sister said, oh no, I can't watch. Your sister's being bullied at the school dance and your choice is to turn away. You don't stand up for your sister. Yo, bad on the Wicked Witch of the East. I'm glad that house dropped on her. We'll talk about that in the next part, but still.
Let's watch this last clip.
I knew she had the power. I told you.
It's just what we hoped for. Eyes in the skies.
Yes, they'll make perfect spies. Spies. Elphaba? Elphaba?
No.
Elfie? Elfie?
You're right, that's a very harsh word. Oh, scouts. What about scouts? Because they're going to be flying around Oz reporting back on any seditious animal activity.
Seditious animal activity. What does that mean? It's you. You're behind all of this. You're the reason why people are turning against the animals. It's all because of you.
We're doing this to keep people safe. All of us will benefit.
And you've known all along. If you wanted spies, why wouldn't you just make them yourself? Read it. Read it! You can't, can you? Can you? Oh, you need all of this. And you need spies and animals in cages and an enemy. You have no real power.
Exactly. That's why I need you.
That's why I need you. This scene, bro. When did you realize she stopped defending herself?
Elphaba?
Yep.
She stopped defending herself?
Yeah, and just let it be. You know what? I feel like this is the scene where she said, you know what? You're going to paint me out to be whatever. You don't have no real power. I'm not falling for the system because I wanted to show the longer clip.
Okay, fair enough. I see where you're getting at. I'll go along with
And
you
she
on this one.
stopped defending herself of being, listen, you want me to be the bad person? I'm going to be the bad person. I'm going to expose.
I think it's because she found something worth fighting for, she felt her reputation being tarnished, and it wasn't even her own self-confidence. It wasn't her own comfort. It was the rights of the animals to speak. And then the minute that she tries to stand up for them, what do? They call her a monster. They call her a tyrant, the Wicked Witch. They say all these mean things about her. So, okay, she stopped caring once she found somebody that she needed to protect.
And this is when she started choosing her integrity more over being accepted.
Yeah, it's one of those realities in the real world that you sometimes, if you want to defend justice and if you want to protect people, you got to be able to deal with what comes behind that. You got to be able to deal with the persecution, what people say about you, and even living in discomfort.
And this is where I say sometimes protecting the peace of mind is better than betraying yourself.
Protecting the peace of mind is better than betraying yourself. That's if you got that will in you. That's if you got that dog in you to fight.
And she does.
She does because she's conditioned by hardship. But somebody like Glinda or anybody else in Oz definitely wouldn't have been able to deal with that.
Yeah, we already know Glinda didn't choose integrity.
She ain't got the balls.
She was down for the power, bro. And that's what that was so crazy. She was down to let her friend take the fall.
They mutually chose that together, at least how the movie portrays it. But in real life, we know it wouldn't be like that.
In real life. In this particular, you start seeing that Miss Marvel said, "Oh, we're gonna make sure that you are put in front, and you're gonna be the one to push, and we're gonna say that she is."
I still stand by it. They chose it. They sang about it, that they're going their separate ways. So they both mutually knew. But at the same time.
Because she tried to convince her, dog. Listen, bro. She tried to convince her, bro. She was like, come on, just decide with this. This is power. And yeah, he can find a way to not make you green. Wouldn't you like that?
I'll go along with you because Elphaba was fighting for the animals and their rights to be heard and to have speech and to not be enslaved, essentially. So, fair. Glinda didn't care about them.
No, she wanted power. Glinda wanted
She wanted
power
and acceptance. Yes, I agree. I agree. She wanted even deeper, she wanted everybody to like her.
Yeah, but they already did. That's the sad thing about it. She just wanted more.
Yep, her mom said you have everything that you want, and she did say when she was a child she wants more. I just feel that they did mutually agree on it, but here's the thing. Yo, Morba was talking bad about your dog. She was saying some wild, disrespectful things around town, spreading rumors, wild, disrespectful. Even if me and you was like, all right, you go over there and you fight this, I'm gonna stay in the house and I'm gonna figure this stuff out. Bro, like, nah, it was wild, disrespectful coming from Morba, the wicked witch and all this other stuff. That's where I just felt,
Yo, bro, I felt like Elphaba was just in her mind thinking that they were friends. And Glinda, yes, I guess you could say Glinda thinks she's a friend, but the way she was acting, nothing friendship about that, because when you knew what they were gonna say about her, you had all time to say, you know what? Nah, chill. That's not right. Like, imagine, bro, I'm on trial. I'm on trial for something I didn't do. And you know, but the people around you's like, nah, say it's him, yo. We're gonna make sure you're good.
you helped spread the rumor.
And you not saying something is saying something.
That is true. I don't know how much influence Glinda actually had with Morba or Oz, but at the same time, she could have at least asked, okay, we already know that she's a criminal. Do we need to spread so much propaganda about her? Or even if I saw that in the movie, I would have thrown her a bit more bail.
This is like government saying get with the program or get ostracized by the program. And the problem I have with this is if that's supposed to be your friend, you already have the popular vote amongst people. So if you went back into town and said, nah, this ain't it, she ain't do this, a lot of people it would have been them with Elphaba versus Oz. No, instead, she's like, nah, I want to get with the program because I've never had this pretty staff, and I'm gonna make sure that I get a nice bubble because she can't fly. This shit look amazing, right?
It do.
I wouldn't travel like that.
Listen,
she rather that and threw her friend under the bus. I really believe she threw her friend under the bus, and because her friend just was like, you know what, I don't want. Elphaba's clearly the bigger person, the reasonable one.
She is.
So she was like, I'll accept it, but yo, this was a whole bunch of BS, bro. A whole bunch of BS. This part of the movie made me upset. Because supposedly, after we did our dance and we started making peace, and thing there, I let you have that the prince was interested in me. I let you have that. You can have him. I'm going to stay back. She's always giving, and all she was doing was taking. Bullish.
Yo, Glinda, you gotta come on the podcast and defend yourself. Yo, it was good, man. You gotta defend yourself.
And this is what made
Glinda.
Wicked so Fire. So the last question I have.
You sure? I don't think we got enough time.
One more question. One last
we'll make
one.
it quick.
If someone told you your story without you present, what would they get wrong?
Everything. Because they ain't got me there telling it. It's not coming from my perspective. I could write a book, but it's not going to be perfect. You're going to get everything wrong. You're going to get all the games that I like wrong. You're going to get everything wrong about my story. But in all seriousness, it's because you don't have me there to tell it. At the end of the day, if I'm not there to speak for myself, you don't get the real me.
But the sad thing about it is if nobody want to hear what you have to say, it doesn't matter, even if you want to tell it.
That's what happened with Elphaba.
Yeah.
They didn't want to know the truth.
And this was Wicked Part 1. Get ready for Wicked Part 2. We're going to go into some more questions and get into a deeper scope. Who you think is the real villain of this story? Like, comment, and subscribe. Hi, my name is Micaiah. Will you join me?